Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Map At League show. I'm your host, Carp, and I am joined today by Mr. Blue. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, doing very good actually. How about
Yeah,
you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's been a while. Although when these five episodes of the show come out pretty much together, it hasn't been. But yeah, it's been a while since we've recorded one of these shows, and today,
Yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge, I guess,
yeah, yeah.
when it comes to regularly recording this kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like Calamity and Zotomo are more experienced in it, I guess, and yeah, they managed it quite well in the last couple of seasons. And yeah, I think that we have to reevaluate how we will do this in the next episode for my Battle League. But yeah, at least we get them done.
Yeah, yeah. Just like vacation and things coming in the way, but we're back
Yeah.
at it. We've got week 11 uh up today, and let's just hop straight in with Division 1, where we see Shumi versus Orpheus ending in 250Ks all around. So
And
is that the
bonus
first?
point for each. So
Yeah.
as well, I'm not sure about that being
Mm-hmm.
the first, but it is definitely interesting to see a double 25. Well, actually, a quarter. Or how do you say, like a quadruple
Quadruple. Yeah.
25k, which is really really interesting. And then indeed, like the bonus points are divided over the two players in this case.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good job to them. And yeah, that's going to be maybe a bit difficult for yourself because you're losing against them the basement here.
Yeah.
And Shumi getting 2 points there is quite problematic for you, I guess.
Yeah, the two of us are really in a battle to sort of stay out of the direct relegation spot. Um,
Yeah, at the same time, your other competitor Xander gets a free win there.
yeah, yeah.
Boxa having some busy times, and he couldn't make it this week.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a bit of a problem, as like an additional problem for you in the relegation zone.
Yeah,
Um, then Sheldon and Blinky also getting a free win there, which was already expected because Blinky lost his motivation to play in this competition. But yeah, this way it's looking a bit strange here. But
hmm,
luckily that is not going to be like this until the end of the season.
yeah. And it's especially fortunate for Xander because I mean he was gonna play against Boxa in Frankfurt, which yeah, I think it's his hometown, right? So,
Not his hometown.
no,
No, no, he's living
okay.
in a smaller city. But I'm quite sure that Boxa is really confident
Hmm.
within Frankfurt. Yes, absolutely.
It was his choice of map, so yeah, I'm guessing
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah, absolutely,
was
absolutely. But no,
confident
he
to.
just had some other things to do,
Yeah.
unfortunately, in this period. And yeah, those things are always more important than the competition. And as long as you let me know, then it's of course fine. So yeah,
Yeah.
we just have to continue and deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately my loss against them, the basement. I hmm, I mean Bay of Plenty was my 16th choice, so yeah, definitely not high up there. South America was basement first. So yeah, the odds were
Two
stacked
difficult maps
against
as
me.
well, I would say,
Yeah. Oh,
because I saw the Bay of Plenty seed, and there were like some difficult locations in there for
yeah.
sure. Quite rural as well, well, without a lot of information. Let's say it like
Yeah.
that. So
I pretty much gave up on the first round itself because there was a really weird thing where there was a sign saying we were by this peninsula, and that's where I guessed, but we were on the pretty much opposite end of the area. So, I mean, whatever. I wasn't expecting a win, to be honest. But especially because of that South America map. But there you go. It's a loss, and well, it's gonna be harder for me to catch up in these last 2 weeks ahead. But these are the standings, yeah. So I am down in the um, basically the only direct relegation spot, seeing as Blinky isn't playing anymore.
yeah,
Um, Yeah. Boxer, Sheldon, Orpheus, and Paulina are, uh, or at least I guess the first three of them, I think, are pretty much guaranteed to be in that playoff spot. And
Technically,
Paulinho,
not really, but
yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, look, given the yeah the way of playing and everything, it is yeah expected that that they would be in there indeed. Um, and then indeed the fourth place, Paulinho. Yeah, he might still be able to lose it against Solar and maybe Soviet, but
Hmm.
we have to see how that's gonna work out. Maybe Moist can even still get in there as well, but yeah, we have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, relegation battle is going to be interesting, as we already mentioned, because Blinky is not going to play anymore, so he will stay at 11. And you, yeah, you still have the opportunity to actually get out of this, of course.
Hmm.
And the players above you, yeah, they can still yeah fall back into it, so to say.
Yeah.
Indeed, there's only going to be one person besides Blinky that is going to be relegated. Um, yeah, Xander, Scripero, Shumi, yourself, and even M the Basement still is also in there, which is also and Barry, which is not even in the yellow zone, but
Hmm.
he is still also only on 14 points, so it's still very tight and it can still go in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. Barry's really only helped by the fact that he has double digits perfect games, which definitely is keeping
True,
him
true.
afloat here.
That is definitely helping,
Hmm.
absolutely. And well, that is also like one tactic, like getting a lot of 25Ks and still not managing to win or to yeah to have a draw in a lot of cases, but still yeah definitely able to get a lot of 25Ks, and that's gonna help in a tie-breaking situation.
Yep. So yeah, let's take a look ahead to week 12. And over here, well, we have Xander going with, I guess, home territory with Taiwan. Um,
Well,
and
yeah, he is quite familiar with the country, I
yeah.
think, so that is definitely something that he is benefiting from.
Hmm. Yeah. Soviet Spy picking Brisbane in Australia. Um,
I
I
think that's also home advantage there.
yeah. Home advantage for him, and I'd assume the same can be said of Sheldon with Mountain View. Uh, but yeah,
It's American, but I'm not really sure where Sheldon is from.
I believe it was a city of his choice, so I'd have to assume that he probably lives in Mountain View. Um,
It could be.
yeah.
I am honestly not sure, but
Hmm.
either way, it's going to be
Yeah.
definitely a home advantage
Hmm.
case for him there. Yeah,
Yeah. The home of Google. We'll see him. Or maybe
but
he just
like
picked it.
things like Paulinho in Czechoslovakia is obviously not his home country, but he will
Right.
definitely be confident in that area because otherwise he wouldn't choose that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or yeah, maybe Sheldon just picked it because, Mountain View is the home of Google, and without Google, GeoGuessr wouldn't exist. So, we need to pay our respects. That's one theory.
It's an interesting thought behind it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Um, but yeah, Orpheus picking France, and Solace picking the US are both just home territory there. I think that is probably just gonna be a draw. Um, there, and Moist Flower pretty much has a guaranteed win. So even though he has like Mongolia and Scenic Impossible
Yeah.
Photospheres, I'm sure he's
And
not
and
worried.
what are you doing there with Bhutan against Boxer?
Yeah, so Bhutan is the only place at which I've actually beaten Boxer in the past. That was back in the in Peshtetli's World Cup last year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And well, I guess if I beat him once, I might be able to do it again. That's my strategy.
That's a good thought, I would say. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
What about Philippine Islands then?
I I don't feel too good about that. Philippines isn't great to begin with, and then smaller Philippine islands, well, there's just thousands of them. Obviously not thousands with coverage, but I don't think I'm going to be able to memorize every single island that has coverage.
Yeah, no, that is tough indeed. Like if you even if you practice, it's gonna be hard to understand. Yeah, where the locations could be. So yeah,
Yeah.
that is going to be a difficult map for sure.
All I can hope is that I can pull off a draw. But yeah, we'll have to see about that. You never know what either Philippines or Bhutan can throw at you. So it's a bit of a toss up there. Who knows?
That is for sure. Yeah.
Maybe if it's a particularly terrible seed, I might pull off a win, but yeah, that's not looking too likely. Uh, yeah. Let's move on to Division 2. And well, we have two tied games here. Punkt and TGP Madone, both getting perfect scores in Nuuk, and Danny Blond and Schludy both picking up perfect scores in Curicó.
I think this is Rudy's best week of the season, to be honest, with two almost 25Ks. Um, for the player in last position in the division, that is actually yeah, a good week for him, and definitely. You can see that Danny was very close to doing the same, to be honest. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a very tight match, as you can see. What else do we have here? So we got Wordog beating Zotomo. Like also that one is very close, as you can see. So
Yeah, just
the
15
populated
points.
US map was no moving, just to make sure that people
Ah,
understand that.
yeah.
So 8,000 points there is actually quite good, I would say, because like urban US and then having to guess where you are, that is quite tricky, I guess.
Yeah. I think you could only
So
manage perfect scores there if you had the city name in front of you somewhere.
of
Otherwise,
course, yeah,
you're just
absolutely.
guessing.
If not, then good luck with that.
Mhm.
Just like a random neighborhood with houses. I
Oh,
don't know. They
suburban
all look the
hell.
same to me, at least.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, Pierre with versus Gabriel on an MPZ World, bit of an upset there, I guess. Was that? That was one of his top picks, so yeah. But
No, it is some sort of an upset, I guess, because it's in winning the opposite map indeed. But
mhm,
then Pierre did the same thing to
yeah.
Gabriel. So
And yeah, Hexalt was stricter. Both of them went with African maps, and again a sort of reversed scenario there. Um, and Brian
yeah,
almost pulling
interesting to
off.
see Hexel's low score, to be honest, in Kenya.
Yeah. Wait, actually, what Kenyan county was that? Because I think it's Kitui.
I not 100% sure anymore, but
Yeah,
I think
it's
Kitui. Yeah,
Kitui. Yeah.
Kitui. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. And then Brian almost pulling off two perfect scores. He does get one in Allison. And just missing on one on the Civilization Alphabet maps.
Yeah, yeah, that's a pretty impressive score, to be honest.
Yep.
And like the Alessund city is not so spread out, but yeah, we created a little bit of a bigger area there, um,
Mm-hmm.
just to make it a bit more challenging. But yeah, he still managed to get a 25K there.
Yeah. And well, in this case, Brian, Schludy, and Danny Blonde all have really good scores for this week, and yeah, that's gonna be really good for their weekly order as well. Um, to pick maps for the
Hmm.
final week.
Yep,
Yeah,
indeed.
I'm actually looking at it. So Brian is in fifth. There's actually a lot of 50Ks this week. So Brian is in fifth, Schludy in eighth, Danny Blunt in ninth.
They're still pretty high.
Yeah, yeah. Um, mhm. Let's take a look at the standings. And yeah, we have the two
Mhm.
Frenchmen, Murdoch and Gabriel, up in the top. 2 spots. But the competition is still really close. Maybe it's becoming a little hard at the bottom for Schludy and Zotomo to get out of relegation. But
Yeah, those will be struggling for sure. But other than that, indeed, like the whole competition seems very close.
mhm,
Obviously, there is a small gap between, let's say, 6 and 9,
yeah,
with two people still in between as well. But I mean, like that is getting a big of a gap there.
mhm,
So there's definitely a split up between the top and the bottom, with then the two players in between that are like sort of safe from relegation, but then not qualifying for promotion playoffs. Yeah, we have to see whether they can actually lift up their game and actually do qualify for that playoff period. Um, and yeah, for the people in 3 to 6, there's definitely still chances of getting to the first two top positions.
Yeah. Um, I'm sure we'll see a lot more movement, especially sort of between the direct promotion and the promotion playoff spot. Um, I think there's
Yeah,
going to be a lot of
especially
switching for that.
if they still have to play each other as well those
Hmm.
couple of weeks, then there must be some changes going to happen. Even if they play against each other as a draw, then their opponents might overtake them. So yeah, definitely something going to happen there for sure.
Yeah. Well, here's what we've got in store for week 12. We have Danny Blunt going with the home territory in Italy. And I want to check that I've got this right. Is that Allison showing up again?
Yeah, like Ollie trained in it, of course, and then he
Ah,
was like, "Okay, I'm going to do it again." So yeah, absolutely.
right.
So not home advantage, but definitely still advantage.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. Last week was just the pre-assigned city, and this time it's the city of his choice.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Um, After that, well, we have Nigerian State that I'm surprised that didn't go to Shumi, but um, well, Hexal's taken that one.
Yeah,
Uh,
either he didn't take it or he was too low in the rankings from
mm-hmm.
the week before that.
Yeah. Um,
And then if someone goes for it, then yeah, they get it, of course.
yeah. Um, WTF has gone for 5 urban location in Ukraine, which I mean, you're gonna have to hope that Trickton knows how to read Cyrillic. I I'm not sure if he does, but um, there you go. And Diesel does steal an official uncommon world from Jake, so yeah, another week that Jake probably has to go without it.
Yep, indeed. Seems
And
to be becoming a sort of a battle now between some players to get that map.
mhm,
So
yeah,
that's interesting to see. Uh, yeah,
yeah, and finally we
and
have a French derby going on, Verdoc versus Pierre. Um, Stillworld that is an NPC, so yeah,
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
two sort of opposite ends of the spectrum. I believe Isle of Man is fairly easy, and then a Stillworld NPC is not.
Yeah, you say that it's very easy. I mean, like probably it is because it's not a very big area. But
Hmm.
I honestly haven't really played it myself that often, so I
Yeah,
I
neither
don't
have I.
really know how easy it's going to be. But then on the other hand, like because it's so uncommon to play there, yeah, you're not really experienced in it as well. So training will definitely pay off there.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, let's go down to Division 3, and here we see Plucky, Jake, Altenwook, and Lebangreb all pulling off wins this week. Lebangreb getting a bit of a free win against Tisa, who, well, didn't play this week.
No,
Um,
yeah, indeed. Teaser, yeah, unfortunately, he didn't play, and he didn't also advise me about this. So that was a bit unfortunate, but yeah, well, I guess a little bit of lucky win there for Laban Grab because his scores were also not extremely high.
yeah.
So that is yeah a nice so-called yeah, how do you say it?
Hmm.
uh, like a nice advantage for him there,
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and what else do we have? Uh,
The French
yeah,
Derby,
Lunacy and
Farban.
Ottawa is also an interesting game to see. Winning
Yeah.
each other's maps there again. So
Hmm.
yeah, always nice to see that.
Yeah. The French Derby ends in a draw, but Farban does pick up a bonus point. Again, sort of swapped maps, but um yeah, I don't know how hard Alanya is, but yeah, Farban really got good scores on both his maps.
Yeah, I think that is a little bit of a challenging city if you haven't trained properly enough for it. I do not know how well Nakiro trained for it. But indeed, yeah, Urban Guesser was very close, as you can see, only a couple of points difference there. And then, yeah, Paraban definitely knowing the better of Alanya.
Yeah, and Max is in the battle for some of those promotion spots, so that perfect score in Kuopio is definitely going to help him out over
And
there.
you can see that Jake doesn't really need the uncommon world because he
Yeah.
can also win on another map.
hmm Yeah, he's made a name for himself as the official uncommon world player, but yeah, he's shown that he can do just as well on pretty much any other map. Uh,
Mm.
really. But yeah, let's take a look at the standings. And yeah, Plucky and Jake are well at least 4 points ahead of anyone else up in those top two spots. So I think they are um pretty well set in those spots. We'll have to see if that's
Yeah,
if maybe
you
Armand.
would expect that to happen indeed. Sorry.
hmm Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
We keep interrupting each other. No, that's
Yeah.
fine. No, I was gonna say like we have to see how that's gonna work out. But at the moment, as it stands, indeed, 4 and 5 points difference with only 2 weeks to go seems very logical that that is gonna stay like that. Yeah.
hmm Meanwhile, at the bottom of the table, it's looking a bit tough for Seppo to get um out of relegation, but Ottawa still has a bit of a chance. Uh, he and Soundbite
Yeah,
are on the
I
same
would say
score.
both still have a chance. Yeah, because I mean, like
hmm
Soundbite only has 9 points as well. I mean, like the gap towards Seofer is a bit bigger,
Yeah,
definitely. And that is going to be a challenging situation to overtake. But um, yeah, Ottawa and Seppa both have a chance to still get ahead of the Soundbite there. Um, and the Soundbite also has not have a single win the whole season yet, whereas the other two they have actually. So that is something for me that shows that they can still do it.
yeah. And Labangrab has been sort of slipping a tiny bit over the last few weeks. I believe he was in one of the promotion playoff spots a few weeks ago, and yeah, maybe a bit of a lull in the season for him. And
Yeah, but then he fell down, but now he got a free win, so he
yeah,
otherwise he only had 10 points.
yeah. So yeah, that free win really helping him out there. We'll see if maybe he can make a last push to stay out of the relegation battle, but we'll have to wait 2 weeks to see whether that
Mhm.
materializes. But yeah, let's take a look at what's in store for week 12. We have Soundbite going sort of with the home advantage in Australia. Um,
Yeah, I think he used to live there,
yeah,
so that is definitely something that may work in his favor there.
yeah. Same thing with Labangrep going for Norway. I guess Altingwood going for Fredericksburg is also a home advantage.
I think that's his hometown,
Oh,
actually. Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't say hometown, right? Isn't he
I
like?
think it is. Yeah,
I thought he's from Iceland, so like, I guess where he
yeah,
lives.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like he's currently living
Yeah.
in Fredericksburg, I
hmm
think. Uh, I'm not 100% sure about it, but I think it is.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, a bit of an interesting pick by Teaser. Was actually did he assign it? Did he like pick it this week? Um,
Uh, what did you say? Diesel? I don't see Diesel
no, no,
here.
no, Teaser.
Oh, teaser. Sorry, teaser.
I'm
Where
not
are you
sure
there?
about the.
No, I'm not sure. I think that is not his choice. I think that's a randomly assigned
Okay.
map.
Yeah. Yeah. So bit of a weird pick, I guess, but I mean that wasn't his pick for the American Derby. Actually, two world maps in the French Derby, between Armand and Ottawa. Uh, I think that's going to be a really interesting match to look at. Um,
Yeah, if Ottawa still wants something, he's got to win that one. But Armagh is definitely not going to be easy to push away.
yeah, yeah. I think actually, yeah, Armand versus Ottawa and Plucky versus Seoul for our Probably some of the more easily decided maps, I suppose. Like, but we'll see. Maybe Ottawa.
In this competition, I don't think there's any week is going to be easily decided
Mm-hmm.
just by looking at the maps, to be honest, because yeah, anything
Yeah.
can go any way. We have already seen that many times. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, like what we need to keep in mind, obviously, is like the consistency of players, and yeah, like the likes of Seofer and what did you say, Ottawa, they have been not as consistent as the other players. So when it comes to that, yeah, you would definitely favor Brookie and Arma. But in this competition, nothing is for free. That's for sure,
Mm-hmm. Uh,
unless they don't play.
yeah, of course. Um, yeah. Also, Nakira going with Istanbul. Uh, I'm I'm not sure if that was
That's not his choice. No.
no. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's gonna be tough, I think. Uh.
Yeah, because Altenburg said that he is actually quite confident to play in Istanbul.
Oh.
So that is going to be a challenge.
Yeah. We'll see whether Nakira can measure up to Altingwork. But yeah. Let's move on to Division 4 now. And well, we see Calamity and Finn picking up wins actually. Uh, that's Finn's first win. Uh, which is really good. He hasn't had the best season since entering, so that win over
Yeah.
Orboka definitely good for him.
Yeah, I don't know really what happened with Ord Boca there in Turkey. 605 points is really not a lot. Uh, so I guess he ran out of time maybe and just quickly went through the seed. I might I do remember something like that.
Okay.
So that might be the case here. Um, yeah, Calamity is actually climbing up the rankings. He was
Yeah.
kind of to be expected at the top beginning of the season, and he didn't really get in that situation, but he seems to be yeah, getting there right now. So that's good for him. Yeah, like he was quicker here than Bitlympics on the Geodetective World Map, and yeah, and Romania is a country that he likes that I know. So I'm not surprised with the win
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just clicked
because
through
Hugo
the.
with 550k as well there, by the way. So that's
Yeah. In one of the
and
50K ones.
Renata only missing for 5 points for doing the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just clicked through the Turkey seed, and yeah, Orboka basically just clicked through it. Uh, which explains how in me clicking through it, I
Yeah.
scored more than he did. So, uh, there you have it. Um, but yeah, a really close game between Hugo and Renata. Really, could have been another double 50K, but yeah, just a
Almost,
bit of
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Clemens didn't have a great week. In an unusual world. Although I'm guessing that was like non-moving or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
NMPZ.
that is
Okay,
that
yeah.
is yeah, that's not easy to do. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, not much to say about that, to be
Yeah,
honest. I mean, if you do not know what you're looking at, then obviously you're not gonna score high. So yeah, I,
yeah.
I I cannot blame him for getting 7,800 points there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bit of an upset for Edward there in Saint Aitres. He has sort of showed that he's pretty good at urban maps, but um, so yeah, that's a bit of an upset for him. Although, funnily enough, his two scores this week were only 1 point apart, which I don't know. Maybe you find that interesting.
Interesting, yeah. That's quite funny to see,
Mm-hmm.
actually. Yeah, no, I didn't notice it before. But yeah, like Edward, yeah, he can definitely be very good in city maps. But it also depends really on how well he was able to train them. And I think he has been really lacking the time in the last couple of weeks. So therefore, like what he did in the beginning of the season. He seems to be not able to do right now, and therefore we can see it in the results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, here are how the statistics have turned out. Yeah, Clemens was a sort of staple up there with Jack in the top two spots, and with a few bad weeks, he's really slipped down the rankings. Although he's
It
not,
shows how quickly it can go in a competition that is so tight. You
yeah,
can definitely see that, and by doing so, it makes the competition even more tight. Actually,
yeah, yeah,
so now there's only 4 points between him and the lead, which is first and seventh place. It's only 4 points difference. Then we got another three people with 15 points. So it's ridiculously close, and yeah, people can still make the playoffs. Even Pustetli can still do it. To be honest, with only 13 points and in 11th place right now, but with 2 more weeks to go, it's even possible for him to make it.
yeah. Um, Sadly, it does seem a little tougher for Ortboka and Finn to make it up. Although Finn's win this week definitely does at least bring him up to the same level as Ortboka in the table. So, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, there's a
I mean,
chance.
like for Finn, it's just. I mean, like obviously he has joined the competition by taking over from someone else, so
Mm-hmm.
it's always going to be a tough situation to even avoid anything from there. So fair play to him that he's still doing his best. I mean, like that's the whole purpose of playing anyway. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's good to see that he is indeed doing his best and that he actually managed to pull off a win as well here and a few draws. So yeah, and most likely it's not going to be enough to survive, but at least he's given it a go.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, there's a chance that with a win or win and a draw or something like that, they could either one of them could jump Olympics.
Yeah,
But
but Bitlimp also got 525Ks, so
right.
that is going to make it a bit harder, I think. So even if they get to 10 points as well, so they need 3 more points in the next couple of weeks, and Bitlympics nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
Then even then, it's still they're still behind him.
Yeah. Uh, in any case, let's take a look at what's in store for week 12. And well, Hugo's going with an interesting pick, Macaronasia, which I what is that?
Uh,
Uh,
that is yeah, I cannot really explain it, but it is the area around yeah, Spain and Portugal. I think
uh,
I have to look it up as well just to be
mm-hmm.
sure
Okay, yeah, it
what it
says it's
actually
the
is.
Azores, Madeira, Canary Islands, and Cabo Verde.
Right. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
because that's an odd name, because you would expect it to be somewhere in Oceania or something like that, uh,
Uh-huh.
due to Micronesia being there. But no, it's not.
Yeah, I thought it was a pastry themed map or something. Uh,
Oh, maybe that is maybe where the pastry is from. I have no idea, to be honest. Actually,
mm-hmm.
that is interesting.
I think the pastries are from France. Uh,
Yeah, it sounds French, but
yeah, yeah,
I honestly do not know.
yeah, yeah. Macarons are. I think they were made in like Paris or something. Uh, don't ask me why I know that. It's a long story, but um, yeah. There you go. Um, Pachetli going with Bern. I believe that is his former hometown, so definitely a bit of an advantage there. Um, and Hidikmi going with the French city. I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but Clermont-Ferrand, I think. But
I
yeah.
think that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, Michael going with the Northern Irish County. Um, I mean, I suppose it's close enough. I don't know whether I'm allowed to say that, but there you go. Uh,
Sorry, what? I didn't get.
no, I meant like, oh, forget it. Forget I said anything. it it's hard to explain, but yeah. Northern Irish County of Down. So yeah, a few home advantages. Not sure how smart going with Slovenia is for Renato, especially against a Croat. So we'll have to see how that turns out.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting to see indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Against a Croatian player, so former Yugoslavian Republic, makes sense that you might not choose that, but um, yeah, I guess she is also very confident in the area where she is living, and uh, countries starting with slow might be
Yeah, yeah.
her expertise. Who knows?
uh, that would be a very interesting area of expertise. But yeah, we'll have to see which tie is better, just country starting with slow or being the same country.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sepke is going with a
Same format.
slightly weird, or at least interesting choice with Greater Dakota, I have to say.
I think Sepkias always chooses interesting maps that you
Uh-huh.
don't expect him to choose. So
Yeah.
uh, I guess that's some of his fun for the competition. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and
Um.
why not?
Mm-hmm. Kind of surprised Vasa didn't go to um any of the Finnish players, but yeah, I guess Bitlympics had a good
He was higher up the
position.
rankings than
Yeah.
any of the Finnish players. So
Yeah.
then, if you make that choice, then that's gonna go your way. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh, actually, where was Bitlympics on this? Uh, I think. Hold up. I don't think. Yeah, Bitlympics wasn't above max.
Okay. Well, then Max didn't
Yeah.
choose it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Bitlympics was down in 51st. Max was in 35th. So yeah. Interesting that didn't go to him, but yeah. Urban map, I suppose. That should go pretty well. Although we'll probably see some high scores from both of them. Uh, yeah. Let's move on to Division 5A.
Hmm?
And well, here we see a lot of wins. Rafa, Flipster, Sausage Ride, Druve, and Biket all picking up wins. Pingvid and Noisel getting a draw on the 5 random cities, but not perfect scores.
Yeah, very interesting. 24,987 for both of them. And then Penguin, sorry, taking the uh, the win on that map by time. So yeah, good for him. And on the other map, yeah, it was just a couple of 100 points more actually. So not that much. Yeah, so tight game between them. Interesting scores, 24,987. And then indeed, as you said, like in most of the other matches except for the first one, there were actually wins instead of draws, which seems to be quite unique in this competition.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, actually a lot of low scores just all around. Uh, Radox didn't get particularly great scores both in Tatras and Bulgaria. Um,
Yeah, Flipster did actually get really good scores in those
mhm,
maps, and yeah, like I suppose that Radox didn't really train Tatras because the Tatras area is actually very small, and there's not a lot of coverage at all there. So I suppose that he did not really train there. And yeah, Bulgaria, living there myself, it's definitely doable, but you also need to know your surroundings a bit, and you need to yeah, get used to city names more than the actual, how do you say it, like the environment and the geography, because yeah, it's very similar throughout the whole country, even though that is some areas are flat and some of them are mountainous, but there are so many mountains that, yeah, like when you are in the mountains, it's not going to be easy to find your location if you don't know anything about city names or something like that.
yeah. We do see Sausage Wipe taking even though he had the home advantage in Russia, not the best scores, but he does pick up a win against GB. Uh,
Mm.
and well, the two buddies, Drew and Timon, uh, had their match this week, and Drew came out victorious. Donuts.
That's funny because Timon had a city in Ukraine as a choice, uh,
Hmm.
and in the end he went for Donetsk. But I guess he did not look at it properly enough
Hmm.
beforehand to make that choice because clearly he did not find his way there.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be honest, like you mentioned, there's a lot of low scores here. But if you look at the maps that they had, a lot of the maps were actually quite difficult.
Yeah. Uh, Definitely a harder week for this division, and well, here are the scores as they've turned out. Um, well, Biquet is in the top spot. Although he's on the same number of points as Radox. You can see Radox's difficulty with pinpointing is his undoing here, as he is no longer in uh, the direct promotion spot.
Yeah. So this difficult week that we just mentioned for him, yeah, is paying off straight away because indeed, like the pinpointing issue here is now showing. Um, doesn't matter that he is eliminated from promotion, obviously, because Big Cat can definitely still draw or lose, whereas he might win. So it's definitely not off. Uh, but it's definitely something that can have affected this game. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, other than that, there's a bit of a tight battle for those last few um, promotion spots. Penguin, GB, Sausage Wipe, Flipster, and Emwicom are just 3 points apart. So,
I'm going to say that you have to watch out for Flipster here because he was taking over from Flapper, right?
mm-hmm.
And he was pretty low in the rankings, and since Flipster came in, he has been climbing up and he has been winning matches. Um, so given that fact, with 2 more weeks to go, I can definitely see him end up in the promotion playoffs.
Yeah. As we can see, he has 4 wins under his belt, more than any of the players around him. So that could definitely point to him making a
Yeah,
run
yeah,
up the table.
absolutely. And to be honest, like if he makes the playoffs, then I can also see him promote.
Yeah, it'll be quite a big turnaround for someone who joined only partway through the season.
Yeah, but I mean, like he did not play any of the preseasons, of course. So,
Yeah,
like maybe if he did play the preseason and he would be there from the start, he might have been in a higher division
yeah,
um, from the first place, basically. But in this situation that he took over from Flapper, um, yeah, then it shows that he is at least yeah good enough to be in this competition and probably better than to be in this competition. So in this division, let me say it like that, and
hmm,
yeah, it looks like he has the opportunity to get promoted here.
yeah. Yeah. Well, here's what we've got in store for week 12. Um, yeah. We have an NMPC World on Ruckus's part, which I don't know if that was his pick or not, but definitely uh going to be a fun game for him and Rafa.
It's going to be
Uh,
two NMPs maps, right? So
oh, Ballad of the World is also
because
an NPC.
yeah, so that is going to
Mm,
be interesting, definitely. I don't think it was Refruka's his choice, but yeah, indeed, that's what they end up with. So yeah, I would definitely favor Rafa for that one, to be honest.
yeah.
And we can see that Radox has to go back to Bulgaria. Uh, so
Yeah.
that is definitely not going to be in his favor, given the fact that I mean, at this time it's going to be a city, not a country. But uh, yeah, it's going to be a
Hmm.
tough challenge, and he's also going to be back in the mountains.
Yeah.
Um, but this is his own choice. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. I think especially with the with Veliko Tarnovo, it might end up being a bit of a problem because well he didn't take too well to Bulgaria, and then with a city, pinpointing is even more important.
True.
So it might raise a few problems. We do have the Finnish Derby, the actual Finnish Derby. So I
Mhm.
don't know how smart of a choice picking Finland was. Over there.
Yeah, but you just mentioned that you were surprised that Vasa didn't go to a Finnish
Right.
player, but then
Mm-hmm.
even if they, I mean, like it might have not been their choice because they were playing against each other. In the end, they actually did
Mm-hmm.
go for this. I think both of them actually wanted Finland, so indeed they end up playing it. But I mean, like, it could have easily been something else just for the fact that they are playing each other.
Yeah. Uh, I think Penguin versus Timon is gonna be a draw. Both of them going with home territories there. Um, Biquet with Garon River. I've never heard of that one. Time to search
Sorry,
that up.
which one? Where do you see that? I don't even.
Uh,
Oh yeah,
uh
there in Garo. It's a
yeah,
French river.
yeah. Uh, hmm. Yeah, never heard of these, but yeah. And Sausage Wrap going with Dnipro in Ukraine. I
I think the
guess.
second time that he is choosing Ukraine already, isn't it?
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, it makes sense in a way that obviously there is Cyrillic written in there, and
Yeah.
yeah, I guess he is also showing that he is not supporting what is happening there, and it makes sense to give it a go like this.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. I guess Finn is going with home territory with Hebrides. Um, so we'll see how that turns out for him. And yeah, let's take a look at the sister division in Division 5B, where we
Yeah.
see Wakelock, Kiribati, AC, Jogera, and Guadal Wizard all picking up wins this week. Um, while
So
the
similar pattern to the other division, right?
yeah,
A lot of wins, not so many draws this time.
mm-hmm. um, yeah, and the French Derby does end in a draw. The Okay, Thai Island had fairly good scores, I have to say. I did not expect it to go that
I
way.
agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The low scores are in the other map. Well, that's for photosphere, so it makes also
Yeah,
sense
yeah.
to be honest. Yeah, yeah. So just like in the previous Division 5, there's a lot of difficult maps here, um, which in a way makes sense because like if you end up in Division 5, then your scores normally are lower than in the higher division, and then you get like also more difficult maps to choose from. But we have seen in previous weeks that is not always the case, and that Division 5 players definitely can also end up really high in the rankings. And we can see Kiribati here with the 50k as well. So he
Hmm.
has been now top of the rankings for the weekly order for the second time. Um, so yeah, it is definitely possible to do it also from Division 5, and you don't always end up with the maps that you don't want. Uh, but what we have also seen throughout the competition is that a lot of Division 5 players actually do not submit their preferences, and then they do get, of course, the random maps. And yeah, that is always going to be a challenge. Well, not always, but sometimes it is going to be a challenge to play some of these maps because all the other people have not chosen them. Um,
Hmm.
we have definitely also seen world maps not being picked, for instance, and then uh, they have a fairly easy randomly assigned map, but it's not always like that.
Yeah. We do see Wakelock also having some really high scores, almost a 50k, but just a little short. Um, and
Yeah, which is quite interesting. Maseru was, I would say, not an easy city to play at all, and
hmm
he completely nailed that with 25k,
yeah,
uh, whereas Holskov did not. And then indeed on the English Islands, yeah, I would expect him to do really well there, of course. So that's not a bad thing.
yeah. Other than that, yeah, Kiribati, I mean, yeah, he took advantage of the home territory with North Coping. And
Hmm.
Buenos Aires isn't a difficult city either, so uh, yeah. Uh,
Not really. No, I agree with that. I mean, like that is there's a lot of signage. Yeah, fairly easy to find out where in the city you are. So definitely possible to get a good score. But if you yeah if you do not know your way around, or
mhm.
at least not look at it in advance, then yeah, it can still be challenging, of course.
Yeah, to be fair, you kind of need to know exactly how the road numbering works. I'm just thankful Laban Grip taught me how it works. But uh, yeah, I guess if you don't know how the roads are laid out and all that, could be difficult.
You can tell me later how to do that as well, because I'm curious to find out, because I
Oh,
never really got myself into that. But
mm-hmm.
I would say that generally you can find your way in Buenos Aires. But
Yeah,
yeah, I would like to hear from your tip, or Labangrep's tip, to be honest,
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
and get myself into that a bit better as well. Sure.
yeah. And yeah, I'm a bit surprised Perlis didn't go to Anchormako, but I mean, with 5 open locations in Indonesia, he did just fine. Um, against Latomp, who I mean, that score in Indonesia makes sense, I have to say. And he got the perfect
I
score in
guess,
Monaco.
yeah. Indonesia is not easy at all, is it? So,
Yeah.
but Anku did doing that really well there, to be honest, 24K, because obviously he's from Malaysia, not from Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I guess there are a lot of similarities, but still, it's not automatically given that you're gonna score 24/7, to be honest.
Yep, for sure. And as you will see, that Joshua Anchormako continues his unbeaten streak so far. Um, he is sort of near the edge of the promotion playoff spots, but yeah, near the top of the table, Purbass and Wakelock are maybe opening up a little bit of a gap to the rest. Kuala Wizard also to some extent.
Makiri was just got a 50K, so
Yeah.
he's not really opening up anything.
Mhm.
He's I think he just took the lead here, didn't he? Uh,
Yeah.
and I think he didn't have it before. So yeah, no, definitely good job to him to getting there. You can see that the Frenchies are in the middle of the pack, uh,
Mhm. Yeah, Anchormako
like
splitting them.
all grouped together. Yeah, and then Anku indeed like 11 matches unbeaten. Uh, let's see if he can keep that up until the end of the season. I think throughout all the divisions, there might be at this stage maybe what 2 or 3 players that are still unbeaten. I think Sheldon is also unbeaten.
Yeah, Sheldon is
Uh,
unbeaten and Zepkist is unbeaten.
yeah, so that's 3 players in all competitions, and funny enough, they're not in the lead of their competitions as well. Uh, so even the players high up in the rankings, they have actually lost a game.
Yeah.
Um, but these 3 have not. So yeah, fair play
Hmm.
to them.
Yeah, I think Sheldon is in second, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but still,
So
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
he's not the
Hmm.
leader of the competition.
Yeah. Yeah. I technically could say Box is also unbeaten. Like the only lost week was the one where he wasn't able to play, but
But
yeah,
that still counts.
yeah,
Yeah.
still a loss. Hmm. But yeah, near the bottom of the table, Takapak and Holzkopf are definitely falling behind the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's gonna be a bit difficult for them to keep up, but
Yeah, no, they're definitely having a tough season, and
mhm,
yeah, hopefully for them they can get back into this next season, as in like getting better in shape for to be a bit more competitive. You still have your graphics as relegation here, but
mhm,
we have decided that everybody that is able to complete the season is also guaranteed to play in it next year.
yeah, yeah. Well, here's what we've got for week 12. We have Hot Cup going with Indonesia, um, which is already pretty interesting. Guala Wizard has shown he's pretty good with Taiwan, so smaller Taiwanese islands make sense. I assume that's basically just the islands near China. Um,
Yeah, there's
which
a couple of more actually,
oh
but
okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah. Other than that, let's see. Wakelock going with the UK advantage there. Um, and Anchormako with Bintulu. Um, Bombadil has the advantage as well with US cities. So yeah.
So Uncle Luke still defend his unbeaten
Yeah.
unbeaten record there. Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
he can still be unbeaten after week 12.
Yeah. Uh, Other than that, I, I don't know if these are random picks or um
Some of
just
them are,
whatever's
some of them are
left.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it's definitely some matches which I mean I don't know which way some of these could go, so that's gonna be
Mm.
interesting to watch.
No, definitely. I would say definitely that like Kiribati would be favorite if you look at the table because he's first and Takapaka is last.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but on these two maps, I still wouldn't know to tell which one is going to win.
Yeah. Um, we do have a well, we technically have two French trippies going on. Effie versus Laton and Jeune versus Valentin. But
Yeah,
uh, yeah. Well, we've technically got two country maps between Effie and Laton, but one's a very different country map. Let's say. Uh,
both of them not with extremely a lot of coverage as well.
yeah.
So definitely both trainable, I would say.
Mhm. We'll definitely see some close scores in that game. Uh, but yeah, there we have it.
Yeah, so looking forward to week 12.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for now. We'll be back with well the penultimate week of the show very soon, and
Yeah,
yeah, before you know it, we'll be in playoff season, and
absolutely.
yeah, we'll be competing to actually try and promote or maybe escape relegation for some people, including myself. But
Including yourself, I was gonna say.
yeah,
Well, good luck with that for
yeah,
yourself, and yeah, let's see what you
yeah.
can do.
Hmm. Yeah. Thank you all for watching, and we'll be back next week.